I don't know if you all remember this, but during the debates, Donald Trump peddled some pretty unscientific theories. I want to take a look at that again real quick. Here he is on vaccines in one of the debates.
You would be in charge of the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institutes of Health, both of which say you are wrong. How would you handle this as president?
Autism has become an epidemic. 25 years ago, 35 years ago, you look at the statistics, not even close. It has gotten totally out of control. I am totally in favor of vaccines, but I want smaller doses over a longer period of time. Because you take a baby in, and I've seen it, and I had my children taken care of over a long period of time, over a 2 or 3 year period of time, same exact amount. But you take this little beautiful baby and you pump, it looks just like it's meant for a horse, not for a child. And we've had so many instances, people that work for me just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic. I only say I'm in favor of vaccines. Do them over a longer period of time, same amount.
Thank you.
Just in little sections.
Dr. Carson.
And I think you're going to see a big impact on autism.
No, you're not. That's a totally bullshit theory. There's zero link between vaccines and autism. This is classic anti-vaxxer horse shit. And now we have an update to this story. The Daily Beast reports here, Donald Trump has not only spread dangerous misinformation about the links between vaccines and autism, but he's also given money to the anti-vaxxer cause. His monetary support for the conspiracy theory came in the form of a $10,000 check to an anti-vaccine charity run by former Playboy model and television host Jenny McCarthy. So, the queen of the anti-vaxxer movement, Donald Trump said, yes, $10,000 check to her, because she's pushing for a cause I agree with. What's amazing to me is that on the list of the Trump faux pas and scandals, this doesn't even make the top 100 list. Seems like a pretty important one, especially since Jill Stein gets a massive amount of horse shit on the issue of vaccines when she's not an anti-vaxxer. Don't take my word for it. Go read Snopes' piece on it. So she had said repeatedly, well, there's a problem with the way the FDA is funded, and you want to make sure that you don't have the companies funding the FDA, who the FDA is then responsible for turning around and regulating, because that's a conflict of interest, and you could let pharmaceutical companies get away with a bunch of shit. So she's right about that. But people have taken that, and they've said, well, that means that she's now anti-vax, because she had concerns about one, I think it was mercury in vaccines, that they then took out, and then now she says, great. And she says, I've administered vaccines as a doctor. And people are like, yeah, well, I still think you're anti-vax. So Jill Stein is not anti-vaccine, but people malign her as anti-vaccine, but Trump somehow gets away with it. Like, when he said this in the debates, it barely registered. Maybe people spoke about it that week, but then after that, it's like, move on. So the 1,000,001 things that he said that are disqualifying, and this doesn't even make the list, when meanwhile, he would be responsible for appointing the head of the FDA and the CDC. You can't have this idiot appoint him. He knows nothing about science. He says climate change is a Chinese hoax. And he says vaccines cause autism. He just said it right there. I just played it for you. He said it on national TV in front of millions of people. People are like, no, don't take this lightly. Take this very, very seriously. He's a buffoon. He fucking is friends with Alex Jones. If he reads an article on InfoWars about some nonsense, he might make public policy based off it. This is insane.